And we're going to begin with alarming new questions about the final minutes of Germanwings Flight 9525. Reports this morning say one of the plane's two pilots apparently was locked out of the cockpit as the Airbus 320 descended.
The New York Times reports that the pilot was fighting to get back in before the jet slammed into the mountain in the French Alps on Tuesday. 150 people died. Mark Phillips is near the crash site in the town of Seyne-les-Alpes. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning. Well, the suggestion that one of the two pilots was locked out of the cockpit changes the nature of this crash from an accident into something far more sinister. The leak concerns the plane's cockpit voice recorder, which an official connected to the crash inquiry is being quoted as saying indicated that at some point in the doomed flight, one of the plane's two pilots left the cockpit and then could not get back in through the locked door. He first knocks lightly on the door, the official says, then knocks harder, apparently trying to smash his way in. The recorder, the source says, shows no further conversation between pilots in the cockpit. A video produced by the airplane manufacturer Airbus shows how the cockpit security system was designed in 2002 after 9/11, but doesn't deal with what changes might have been made since. It also doesn't deal with the possibility of what would happen if one of the pilots deliberately tries to lock out the other. The report contradicts what the French air accident investigators have said. They acknowledge there were voices and sounds on the cockpit recorder, but Remy Juti said they could not yet determine when those conversations took place in the course of the flight.
We have not yet fully understood and worked on it to be able to say, okay, this is starting at this precise point in flight, this is ending at this precise point in flight.
Accident investigators are notoriously cautious, preferring to have all the information before they leap to conclusions, but this leak will put a lot of pressure on the French inquiry to say something about what is on the cockpit voice recorder, especially as preparations are being made for families of the victims to come to the Alps to be close to those who died and to see where they did. Until now, speculation on the causes for this crash have centered around some sort of mechanical fault. Now, a whole new area has been opened up. Was this some sort of deliberate act, suicide by air crash perhaps? According to the source, the last sound heard on the cockpit voice recorder was the ground proximity indicator. Gail.
It's hard to think about that. Thank you, Mark Phillips in the French Alps.